Iwe nyanye ndo alakere ni wedo no bochi nketa. Anyi we na ase na ija mani no toni ne dra ha nsori. Onye obuna anya ka ikere no no badara aka ya. Anyi we na akpokugi. Na ase na nkoma mani ga ekele gi nkojo mani kele gi. Anyi we na ajage mma. We na toyi we na asopro gi. N'isi ụmụ gị niile bụ ndị ikwu ndị wee ezi okwu mgbe a kpọrọ ha ka ha wee chekwa ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na ihe n'ikwuru anyị nkwa na o mekataghị ka ndị iro wee were ala nsọ Biafra onye nwe m na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe agbanyeghị atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro ma ndị na-agba mgbogbo ebe niile dị iche iche onye nwe m na Chineke nna ihere bụ nke ndị dị etu a n'ụbọchị nketa anyị wee na-etoghị wee na-asị onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile onye ọ bụ naanị ya na-azọpụta onye ọ bụ naanị ya bụ okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi na n'ụtụtụ na-eja mma na nsọpụrụ site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi. Ise ise ise.
Yes. Hallelujah is the song of Biafrans, the song of freedom, the song of champions, because we are champions, we are champions, we are champions. It is the song of freedom, and very soon we shall be singing the song of freedom in the holy land of Biafra. We will be singing the song of freedom from the holy land of Biafra. Yes. Thank you very much for staying tuned into Radio Biafra Motherland. This is Mazi Sochima Mbanali, coming to you live from Radio Biafra London. Mazi Sochima Mbanali is from Olu province of Biafra land, and it is a great honor, it is a great pleasure to be here this evening. I thank you all very much, and I say once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you, depending on where you are listening to me from, depending on where you are tuned into Radio Biafra from. Radio Biafra can be listened to from anywhere in the world. Radio Biafra can be listened to if you are in Biafra land. All you need to do is go to 102.1 FM. 102.1 FM. And if you have an internet enabled device, all you need to do is go to your app store. Just go to your app store. It doesn't matter the phone that you're using. Go to your app store and you will be able to download Radio Biafra. Very low data usage app, Radio Biafra. You can also be able to download IPOB Community Radio. These are very low data usage apps that will enable you to be part of this great gospel. And once more, this is a live broadcast from Radio Biafra. And the time is 18 minutes past the hour of 5 in the holy and blessed land of Biafra. I want to remind you once more that we are still in the season of prayer. We are still praying. Of course, we are not only praying, but we are praying and working to ensure that Biafra is restored. Therefore, I thank you very much.
IPOB ezukawo n'obi Chukwu ụmụ Biafra ezukawo anyị ezukawo ụmụ Chineke ezukawo n'obi Chukwu. Announcement. There will be 40 days reading and praying with Psalms, chapters 1 to 150, from Saturday 20th of May to Wednesday 28th of June 2023 for IPOB and Biafrans worldwide. Fasting is optional. The Psalms are rearranged, taking into consideration those chapters with long and short verses. For instance, in the one Saturday 20 of May 2023, it has chapters 50 and 51 containing 61 verses, with theme taken from Psalm 51 verses 1 and 7. The details of day-to-day schedule for the 40 days will be found on all IPOB pages on social media. Chukwu okike abịama pụrụ ime ihe niile is faithful, and he will give us victory soonest. Ise, from Directorate of States of IPOB. Shalom, Ụmụ Chineke.
Shalom, Ụmụ Chineke. And I say, Udo dịrị unu, Ụmụ Chineke. Udo, that is peace, is for those who want peace. If you do not want peace, nobody should force you to accept peace. Peace is for those who really want peace, not something that is obtainable if you are not desirous of peace. I thank you once more, great Biafrans, for being part of this program this evening. I want to begin by reading an opinion. From this is coming from Africa Daily News. And this is a question. It says, Biafra, when will the Nigerian government fully implement the 3 R's? I will just briefly go through it before we open up the line. It says, over 5 decades ago, no fewer than 3 million people needlessly died in a brutal war carried out by the genocidal intentions against the Biafran people by the federal government of Nigeria. Since then, Nigeria has continued to make consolidated attempts to erase the scar of that bloody moment from its ugly history, and these attempts have remained perpetually futile. These attempts have remained perpetually futile. I want to bring your attention to what this writer said. He is not talking about making attempts to remedy the situation or to simply, let's go with the simple apology, recognition of guilt, recognition of wrong. for killing over 5 million people. Recent report says over 7 million people were massacred by the Nigeria government. Over 7 million people massacred by the Nigeria government. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. That's opinion, and I want you to go and read it. It is very informative. I want to thank our leader, Onyendu Nnamdi Kanu Ohamadike Biafra, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Kenya by Nigeria government in 2021. Actually, this month made it 2 years since Nigeria government abducted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. Since Nigeria government abducted His Excellency, the leader of the people of Biafra, from Kenya. And sometime in December 2021, UN, a branch of UN, a commission rather, from UN working group, wrote to Nigeria government and to Kenya government, to which Nigeria government responded in January. And after their investigation, they released an opinion which is enforceable by the UN, that Nigeria government should release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and pay him for violating his fundamental human rights. The UN opinion also made it clear that our demand for the restoration of Biafra, our demand for the freedom of the Biafran people and for everybody tied in that unworkable union through a UN supervised referendum is not at fault. We are not wrong for holding that opinion or that demand. And since then, Nigeria government, they have kept Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the DSS dungeon. Nigeria government, they have shown their lawlessness. They have shown their inability to appreciate the law, to appreciate peace, to appreciate law and order. I send my regards to the leadership of IPOB, the Directorate of States, led by Mazi Chika Idoziem. Mazi Chika Idoziem was here on the 30th of May, 2023. And what a powerful speech that was. I ask you to please go back and listen to that broadcast as often as you can. I also want to thank the men and women of ESN, Eastern Security Network. They are responsible for the safety of our land to ensure that the ills of the Fulani Janjaweed is not found in our land. I thank them. And on the 30th, just 6 days ago, we also acknowledged them for their sacrifices. This day, once more, I acknowledge them. And every single person who is working assiduously, who is working towards the restoration of Biafra, who is working for the freedom of the Biafran people, I thank you. I thank you. 6 days ago, Biafrans that lives outside Nigeria gathered in numbers. We gathered in numbers from Ghana in the western part of Africa to South Africa, which is on the other side, the southern part of Africa. We gathered from Ghana, we gathered in the west, we gathered in the south, because it was Biafra's heroes stroke heroines Remembrance Day. This was on the 30th of May 2023. On the 30th of May 2023. This evening I want us to really talk about the blood of Biafrans being shed on a daily basis. The blood of Biafrans being shed on a daily basis. And on the 30th was one of those days that we commemorated the sacrifices that our people made. I applaud every single person who made that event possible. This event was witnessed all over Africa, from the east down to the north, from the west to the south. It was the same story from Germany to Russia, even down to London, all over Europe, all over America, even in the streets of Asia. Biafrans gathered and made it a day to remember. A day to remember, not only for ourselves, not only for Biafrans, but a day to remember even by our host countries. When we spoke, these countries, they listened. They listened to us and they understood. They understood our pains. It is almost impossible to name countries that were not or are not victims of the imperialism of England, the imperialism of Britain. Therefore, when we speak, these people, they understand, because they themselves have become victims of British imperialism. So while those of us Biafrans who are living overseas gathered and showed gratitude for the sacrifices of our heroes and heroines, Biafrans in Nigeria were not left out of this holy commemoration of our saints. Biafrans in Nigeria observed a total lockdown. It was a complete sit at home across Nigeria. A complete sit at home. These saints, they deserve such an honor, because these are honorable men and women. I speak about them in the present continuous, because I believe these are men who will live forever, men and women who will live forever. As long as Biafra is concerned, these people will live forever. And I call them honorable. They deserve this honor. Honorable, not as you have in Nigeria today, honorable not as you have in the Zoological Republic, where those in legislature, those who make the laws that Nigeria government don't care about, the laws that they step on without any remorse, without even any recourse. Those in the legislature in Nigeria, they call them honorable. Meanwhile, these people sell the organs of the same people who call them our honorable. They sell the organs of the people they are there to protect. This is what is obtainable in the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, where the state itself is the architect of lawlessness and the subjugation and the massacre of the people. But in this instance of talking about honorable men and women, I am not, like I said, talking about those of the zoo, but I am talking about honorable in the real sense of the word. Honorable men and women. Honorable men and women like our eternal leader, Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu. Honorable men and women like those who died from 1967 to 1970, fighting for our liberation, fighting for our freedom, fighting for our dignity, the restoration of our dignity. They fought and died to protect us. Honorable men like the victims of Asaba massacre. Honorable men and women, I should say, victims of Aba massacre, victims of Obibo massacre, victims of Mpo massacre, victims of Olo massacre, Iguacha massacre, Aba massacre, Emene massacre, all over, including Odi massacre. There are just too numerous massacres to name. We remembered on the 30th our gallant men and women of ESN, those who made the ultimate sacrifice. These are heroes. These are heroes. These are heroes, and we will not fail to keep recognizing them. We will not fail to keep giving them the honor that is due to them. Thank you very much for staying tuned into Radio Biafra. I do apologize for that brief interruption. We celebrated our heroes, and we will keep remembering them. We will keep holding them in a very special place. They have a very special place in our hearts. I do not ever, there is no single day when I do not honor people like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Every single day of my life. This is a man of honor, a man that has put everything on the line for his people. This is what leadership is all about. Leadership is not about what your people can do for you, rather what you can do for your people. We honor people like him every single day, men and women like him, women who left their babies at home in order to join their husbands to protect the same children. They left their children in order to be able to protect them, to carry arms and defend them. Men and women who willingly gave their lives in order to protect us, to ensure that we are here today, to ensure the survival of our race. Even though these men and women, they were not politicians, they were not elected into different positions of services to the people. They were just ordinary men and women like you and I. Ordinary men and women like you and I. Today, just like on the 30th, we remembered them. We remember them. These were ordinary men and women who had an understanding of the time. They understood the time. And just like us today, in their own time of trouble, they understood it. And they quickly realized that they were left no other choice except to fight for survival. They were left no other choice. No other choice. Despite the horror before them, despite the massacres, the atrocities that they faced, despite the total disappointment at the connivance of the world against this little space, this little geographical location called Biafra, they accepted their fate. They accepted their fate with no fear and made the ultimate sacrifice to ensure our survival. They were left no choice. I said this, that they were left no choice because just like you, just like me, we have been given only, they say we have been given only two choices by the world. And the choices are live on your knees like slaves or die. Or die. But to me, just like to them, there is not even anything to choose between, because the option is just death. That the choice that we were given, that was forced on us, was death. And that option is still what is obtainable today in the zoo. That is still the what we have been forced to live under. Live on your knees like slaves or die. There is no choice there. This living on your knees like slaves, that is even worse than death. So there is really no choice to be made here. Because like I said, the first option, which is to live on your knees as slaves to the Nigeria government, as slaves to the Fulani Caliphate, who are the representatives of the British monarch, and by extension the British government. Slavery to these people is nothing more than death. It's slavery. Slavery is still death. Of course, a little bit more than that, actually. I would like to say here that slavery is really not a choice, because as the Biafran people, we consider freedom an inalienable right. We consider freedom as an absolute right, as an indisputable right, as a right that is undeniable, a right you cannot deny people, every human being, including every single person in Nigeria, possesses, every person in Nigeria has this right. We believe that as long as you have a mind of your own, you are not a slave, and therefore you are not supposed to live on your knees as a slave. Why should you live on your knees as a slave when you have your own mind, when you have your own hands, when you have your own feet? Once you have a mind of your own, you have been blessed with freedom by default, by nature. And this freedom that you have been given by nature, no one can take it away from you except by nature itself. This is what we believe in as Biafrans. We believe that freedom is an integral component of being human. Just as the brain makes a person, freedom makes a person human. It is freedom that makes a person human. Therefore, slavery is anti-human. Slavery and its attributes is the coffin of mankind. Anti-human. And it is very shameful that today Britain is steering the sheep. These sheep that they brought and shipped black people as slaves. It is very shameful that today Britain is still steering that ship that is carrying people, humankind, that is carrying the human race to extinction. And today, it is known as imperialism. Imperialism. It is just a new word for slavery, just like colonialism came. And the worst is that Britain have continued to sustain this slavery in Nigeria, even until today, by recruiting more countries like the USA to help them sustain this modern day slavery, just as they did during the transatlantic slavery, just as they did in 1967 to 1970, just as they have been doing. Recently, a report came that people came from America in order to sign and buy over the organs of Nigerians, in order to be able to export the organs of Nigerians. And today America has continued on this path that is destructive to humanity. This path that is destructive to humanity. This part that is a crime against humanity. The continued existence of Nigeria. The continued existence of the zoological republic is a crime against humanity. It is a crime against humanity. So today I want to remind you of all the blood that we have lost, all the blood that we have shedded for our advancement, for our survival. And I want you to understand, I want each and every one of us to understand that these people did not die for nothing. They did not die for nothing. They did not. And they will not. They will not. On the 30th of May, we remembered our heroes and heroines who fought to abolish slavery. We remembered those who died in order to escape slavery by willingly choosing their own death when they walked back into the Atlantic Ocean. As Biafrans, we do not consider any human being to be lesser than the next, which was what these brave men and women, these boys and girls, this was what they communicated to the American people when they walked into the Atlantic Ocean. And today they are immortalized in faraway Georgia. Our culture, our law abhors slavery. It does not see eye to eye with anything that has to do with slavery. where I am coming from, we see slaves the same way we see zombies today. The same way people see zombies when you watch the American movies and all of that, and they show zombies. That is the same way we see slaves, the living dead, in desperate need for peaceful resting, for an end to their slavery, for an end to their punishment. This is actually the worst type of punishment that can be given to anyone, including the dead. The worst punishment that can be given to the dead is to dwell among the living, to live, to dwell among the living. A punishment that goes past the grave. A punishment that goes past the grave. And in 12 minutes, the lines will be opened, and we can have a conversation. You can call in and do make your opinion. I know a lot has been happening, and I know the information. We are spreading it. We are helping to conscientize the minds of other people. A lot is happening, and people are still dying. People are going through so much in Nigeria. So like our ancestors, we still consider the first option. The first option that they gave to us, which is to live on our knees as slaves, we still consider it as the worst type of death. The worst type of death. We still consider it as the worst type of death. So basically, like these heroes and heroines, we have been given no choice other than death by Nigeria government. We have been given no other choice except death. This is why this government is leading the death of Nigerians. This is why the zoo is leading in killing Nigerians through various strategies, through various despicable strategies. We have heard so much about what I'm trying to find the right word, because I feel like, but for lack of words, let me say the atrocity that Nigeria government is committing, stripping the people of their right to their own property. How do you do that? How do you take away the rights of the people to their own organs? Now the sales of the organs of the Nigerian people has become legal. They have legitimized such abomination. This is a country where Britain is still trying to ensure that they keep together. How do you want to keep such an abomination? A country that its citizens have no right to their organs. How do you keep such a country? How do you try to legitimize that? So this government is leading the death of Nigerians through various strategies. Organ harvesting is but one of them. The rate of extrajudicial killings in Nigeria is second to none. Disappearances, abductions, and all other ways they devise to cut short the lives of Nigerians, including economic suffocation. Today, Nigerians can't even provide for themselves. Today, Nigeria has become the poverty capital of the world. Nigerians are today in a state of melancholy because they have extended the economic marginalization against Biafrans to the entire Nigerians. They have extended it from the north to the south, to the east, to the west, all across Nigeria. And as we speak today, Nigerians can't afford to buy oil to transport them from one point to the other. Nigerians can't afford to pay to buy themselves food. There is a total state of hopelessness in Nigeria. Total state of hopelessness in Nigeria. Therefore, just like us today, our heroes and our heroines, they did not consider having any other option. The only option that we have been given since the inception of Nigeria is the option of death. And in 1967, they tried to put a stamp on it, just like they have been doing, abducting and killing our people. But now, rather than accept death, the way this generation, some of us have been doing, just like we are doing today, rather than accept death as intended by our enemies, rather than that, we accepted to die in order to live. Our saints, they accepted to die in order to live, and today we live. Our saints, of course, they were successful in this operation, and our enemies failed. They failed in their attempt to exterminate us, just as they will continue to fail. Because Biafrans, we don't die, we multiply. And on the 30th of May, Biafrans and all lovers of freedom across Nigeria observed a total lockdown, as others overseas congregated, all in honor of the sacrifices of our saints. All in honor of the sacrifices made for our lives. And because of their sacrifices, do you understand that the word heroes had no proper definition until these men and women came? And right now it is said that heroes fight like Biafrans. Therefore, we gave the word heroes a proper definition. Our saints, they chose the path of righteousness. Our saints, they chose the path of enlightenment. Our saints, they chose the path of peace. They chose the path of peace. And peace is not something you get when you do not defend yourself. You must defend yourself and fight back against your oppressors. That is how you must get peace. Not when you have been told that your organs do not belong to you and they are harvested daily for the benefit of your oppressors. What do? Do you say, no, I want peace, I do not want to fight? Or do you rise up and challenge and put an end to that atrocity? You make your choice.
And we know for sure that this was headed by an international organ trafficking cartel. They funded the National Assembly. Some people estimate to the tune of $6.2 billion US. They also bought all the Nigerian government, federal government hospitals at the cost of $3.2 billion US. They even offered to buy all the Catholic hospitals for $2 billion, but the bishops refused that. So this is a well-organized cartel who are actually moving into Nigeria in order to actually buy up, or they have already paid an advance on all our organs. Anybody in the Federal Republic of Nigeria has no entitlement to their organs as it stands today with the law. And we know this for sure, that these are billionaires from the United States who funded this organ trafficking cartel to take the organs of Nigerians. Now, my colleague AGK had asked whether I was there when this cartel made the negotiation. The answer is yes, I was physically present in a deliberation. We were called as leaders of the private health sector to the headquarters of General Electric, the biggest company in the world, the leading medical company in the world. I was representing the Catholic Medical Practitioners of Nigeria and the Association of General and Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria as the committee chairman of the National Health Act. And presiding over this National Health Act public hearing was Senator Ike Ekweremadu, who was then the Deputy Senate President. And
let me comment there. Who did you say was presiding?
Well, Senator Ike Ekweremadu, he was the presiding senator for the bill public hearing. And the sponsor, the chief sponsor, was Ifeanyi Okowa, now governor, but then Senator Ifeanyi Okowa. And just sitting by his side was also Dr. Chris Ngige, so who was then a senator. So all of them were there, and I made this argument directly, pointing out Section 48, that Section 48 makes an exemption that is impossible. You don't exempt, there is no situation in medicine where you can overrule or say the consent is waived. Consent is never waived. It could be transferred to the next of kin, but it's never waived in any situation. That is part of the Helsinki Declaration. So it's an international treaty. So we cannot make an exemption here in Nigeria. Then I also pointed out the loophole in Section 51. You cannot have the medical practitioner or the medical director of a hospital be the one to authorize that an organ is taken from someone to be given to another person. So it is wrong. You can't give what you don't have. That's a legal principle. Then I pointed out in Section 53 that it is also when you say reasonable cost for reimbursement of reasonable payments. What does that mean? Is 10 million naira reasonable payment for kidney? Some people will tell you that too. So you actually legalized the sale of organs in Section 53. Now, my colleague AGK had asked whether I was there when this cartel made the negotiation. The answer is yes, I was physically present in a deliberation. We were called as leaders of the private health sector to the headquarters of General Electric, the biggest company in the world, the leading medical company in the world. And we were told that Bill Gates offered them $2 billion to build 260 hospitals in Nigeria. So they want us to name our price so that we can be paid off, so we will leave the entire medical system, so that we will not be practicing medicine, we will not be practicing pharmacy, we will not be practicing laboratory science. In Nigeria, no Nigerian will be in the medical profession. And we should just name our price so we will be compensated for it. We couldn't believe ourselves.
Why would anyone do a thing like that?
This was done. I was present. It's not somebody told me. I was physically present before the executives of a General Electric with a number of other Nigerians in the health sector, in pharmacy, in laboratory sciences, and there were executives of GE from their headquarters in New York. this is the first time it's happening in the history of humanity. Nothing like this has ever happened. And I warned Ike Kurumado before the Senate, and Nigerians there will bear me witness, and many of them still remember. I told Ike Kurumado before the entire public hearing that he will be the first victim of this law he's standing for. Before everybody. Senator Kowa can also bear me witness because he was there. And I told him, it now seems like a prophecy come true. And this was exactly what happened. That the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria sold the entire organs of the Nigerian people, even when they knew that this was the situation. And that is very, very, very bad on us as a whole nation.
Thank you very much for staying tuned into Radio Biafra. Our line is now open, and you can just call in and express yourself this evening. Express yourself, because we have actually lost so much of our people. We have lost a lot of people because of the diabolic nature of Nigeria and those that they put in their leadership. Those they put in leadership to maintain this abomination. And the number to call is +27 78 064 5457. I repeat, the number to call is +27 78 064 5457. Nigeria is a crime against humanity, and anybody talking about the sustenance of Nigeria is not doing you any favor. Not doing you any favor. And if you are joining us on IPOB Community Radio on YouTube, please understand that it is buffering. I believe it is buffering. So all you need to do is download any of our apps so that you can listen to us easily. If you are on Facebook, we are live on various Facebook platforms. We are live on Radio Biafra. We are live on Radio Biafra Motherland. We are also live on IPOB Johannesburg Zone, South Africa. We are live on these various Facebook platforms. And do not forget that if you are in any part of the zoo, especially if you are in Biafra land, do go to your transistor radio and tune into 102.1 FM. Once you tune into 102.1 FM, you will be able to listen to us. You'll be able to connect with us. It is important that we talk about the sacrifices of our people so that we will understand that this is a responsibility that has come to us. This is a responsibility that we have been given. We do not have a choice. We do not have a choice. There is this news I want to read to you. This is from Icons News, and it says, Muslim ticket. We shall sustain an Islamic-dominated government for 20 years. El-Rufai tells his supporters, mocks Nigerian Christians. Now, if you are a Christian in Nigeria, I want you to please pay attention to this. Just a few days ago, I read news that a priest was killed coming back from somewhere in Olu. No, is that Olu? Was that Olu? In Imo State, let me leave it at that. In Imo State, a priest was killed just a few days ago, and according to the report, this a priest was not even the only one this year. Rather, the numbers they were calling in the same Imo State, number of priests that were killed is just something that breaks my heart. Christianity is supposed to be the followers of Christ. The followers of Christ. Now, what is Christ to begin with? Christ means a savior. Christ means a savior. Now, if you are a follower of Christ, what is it that you are saving people from? You cannot say sin, because that is absolute. It's just nonsense, especially in the condition that Nigeria is in. In the condition that Nigeria is in. What are you saving the people from? The number one problem of Nigerians is their government, not sin. Their own government. So if as a Christian you leave the problem of the people, the number one problem that you are supposed to save them from, and you go playing, talking about other things that are not as relevant in their lives today as the problem, then I do not believe that you understand the part that Christ undertook. Now let me read this. It says, Muslim ticket, we shall sustain an Islamic dominated government for 20 years. El Rufai tells his supporters, mocks Nigerian Christians. Let me read this a bit. The former Kaduna State Governor, El Rufai, in viral video during his handover ceremony, mocked the Nigerian Christians, stating that Muslim ticket is an Islamic agenda, and there is nothing Christians will do to stop the full implementation of Islamic agenda in Nigeria. In a statement credited to the former Kaduna governor, in which he told his audience before handing over to his successor that the Islamic dominance in Kaduna had been successfully replicated in Nigeria and that it shall continue. El Rufai equally told his audience that in the course of the electioneering campaigns, when they, Christians, tried to ask questions on why the Muslim ticket, he deceived them that it was not for religious dominance, when in reality, the tickets, both nationally and at the state level, were for Islamic dominance. El Rufai further said that the victory of Bola Tinubu had silenced the Christian Association of Nigeria. I hope they are listening. Adding that he will sustain an Islamic government for 20 years and unending not only in Kaduna State but in Nigeria at large. Reacting to his statement, the chieftain of the All Progressives Congress in Plateau State, Samuel Kwamko, on Sunday cautioned former governor of Kaduna State, Nasser El-Rufai, not to set Nigeria on fire with his utterances. Now, I want to stop here a bit because you can understand that this man, El-Rufai, is talking about actions that they have taken so far in order to Islamize, in order to force you to identify with an identity that is foreign to you, in order to force you into identifying with a religion that is alien. And then when you look at this statement from Samuel Kwamko, you realize that this is the normal reaction of Nigeria political leaders. the normal way they react. They say, we ask you to exercise caution in your speech. Whereas you are talking about actions that you have already taken that are detrimental to the people, rather than the people to address it, rather than the people to address these issues, they ask you not to speak. That is basically this. They're asking him to basically do whatever he wants to do, but do not come out and talk about it, so as not, according to them, set Nigeria on fire. Now, is it words that will set Nigeria on fire, or their actions, the actions of those who are supposed to represent the people? Is it the words, their utterances, or is it their actions that are really setting Nigeria on fire? The solution is take your own action. What other action are you ready to take in order to ensure that you are not Islamized, in order to ensure that you do not lose the little vestige of dignity that you have? I have a caller on the line. Caller, you are live on Radio Biafra Motherland. Please introduce yourself and go ahead with your comment. Ndeo. Caller, are you there? I cannot hear you clearly. You are not very audible.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
Okay. My name is Sochima Mbanali. I'm speaking from my location. Thank you very much for your topic this evening. I greet my leader, Mazi Sochima Mbanali, the man who set up this platform to expose all the evil that is going on in the whole world, especially in that evil entity, the Korniga area. Now, we are talking about slave. Now, before the slave in Africa, they are using chain to chain a lot of people and forcing them with banana and all of that. But today's slave is a different ballgame. Now they are using the politicians as slave masters. Are you hearing me?
Yes, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Okay. They are using politicians as slave masters. Just as what you are seeing in Biafra land today, all the governors, all the senators, all the so-called ministers, anything called politician, even including the so-called men of God, all of them are slave merchants. They are holding their people into slavery. In their mind, they are thinking they are making money, not knowing that when your people are slaves, you are also a slave. That is why some of them, when they come to channel TV or to radio house, they cannot talk the truth. They cannot say the truth. They will always defend their slave master just to make sure they hold their people down. But whatever money you have, and you are holding your people into slave, you are also a slave. Anybody that has no money and has his freedom is far better than a millionaire in the name of one Nigeria. If you go across Nigeria, you will sympathize for people because they are hailing their slave masters. You see somebody like Wele Soyinka. You see somebody like Obasanjo. You see like Tinubu. You see like Devil Omahe. All of these people are slaves, but they don't know. In their mind, they are thinking they are making money. They don't know that the British and the Fulanese and their agents, they see them as a group of foolish people. Just allow them to take any position as a governor, as a senator, whatever you may call it. That's all. They can do anything to their people. But let me put it very clear. When your people, you are killing your people as a governor or as a senator, whatever you call yourself, your enemy is waiting for you at the roundabout. When you come out, you made any statement, they'll get rid of you and they will destroy you. By that time, you are alone. Your people, you have destroyed them. Your enemy have used you to destroy your people, and they have get rid of you. By then, you are alone. And that is what is going on. If you watch out what happened to Wike, if you watch out what happened to Devil Omahe, they know all these people. It is on their register. Any step, any movement you made, they will catch up you and no more for you. I have a lot of things because this standard radio is here to educate you. When you speak, people will know you are a human being. The knowledge in Radio Biafra is nowhere to find in the whole world. It was set up for the truth. Because the Bible said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. That is Radio Biafra. Nigeria foundation was made by lying. That is why they say one Nigeria. One Nigeria means that Nigeria is not one, but they are forcing it to be one. And everybody has seen what is going on. When you say that something is not one, is one, you are deceiving yourself. Nigeria is not one and can never be one. That is the truth. That was what our leader is preaching. The truth shall set you free. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I greet my leader for all the effort this man has put down. Has laid his life for greedy ones, some foolish ones, some idiots who claim that money is everything. Is following money instead of their life. They forgot that a day will come and their children, unborn generation, will suffer for the evil they did when they are alive. Thank you very much. All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra. I appreciate your time and your effort. I appreciate your contribution. I have another caller on the line. Caller, you are live on Radio Biafra Motherland. Mazi Okechukwu.
Okay, sir. Mazi Sochima have beginning, has an end. That's why we have night and the commemorating the month. Biafrans all over the world. This is our ancestral land. And we are taking it back. And there's nothing any human being on this earth can do about it. Because that is who we are, Biafrans, and this is our own life. And the guy Mini Shibano Plubo, Grand Gosha, like a Britain. That chicken does this is the time for we Biafran race all over the world to want Britain seriously to release our there for us. As they are existing in their country fully. They cannot emerge us here with the Fulani terrorists. Their agenda is to kill us and take our ancestral land. So that Biafrans all over the world will be homeless. And will pretend, say that they are disciplined nation. No. They are complete witches and wizards. That is why the whole nation is about to shame them. Because United Nations must take notice of this message. Down to Pope. So that all the religious leaders here in Biafra land will take notice of this message. And don't joke with it, because this is the time for us to do. No more selfish interest. Freedom of all. So that we worship our own God. And every other nation will worship their own God. That chicken does him. Okay, more project as in Jeremiah chapter 50, from verse 1 to end. And the same Jeremiah chapter 51, from verse 1 to end. That is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 8, verse 9, and verse 10, very important. Gelazo, verse 6 and verse 7, very important. Jeremiah chapter 50. Britain capture, Britain's fall, and Biafran's return, and Chukwuokike Abiama's judgment on Britain. That Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen, number one, big offense on this earth. And the Britain abandoned him in the hands of terrorists on this earth before the eyes of every human being, because Okesha Academy Cambridge. But I have common sense. That's why I'm the Muslim here. Also, Okechukwu Kanelu, where I don't know, other than Lucy. Who are you, Kwan? To take the land of the ancient race. Do you know where? Ndibo. That's Malami what Islamize us. To take the land. Do you know that we are in Abuja? Are we taking your land? Our Biafra is taking the land of Yorubas. And you people gathered without the nation to come and keep Biafra's land. You are using all the leaders here, all the governors to be killing us, but people that have come to serve you. But he said to their end, brother, Mazi Sochima unconditional now. Direct word from the God that is this earth. If you want to tell it, all the northerners will dance on you. That Jeremiah chapter 50 is fulfilled, their prophecy. So that you know that our leader, Mazi Sochima, is from the Most High. Where are you? You think that you can joke with the Biafra. See that this generation of Biafra joking. Buraru Shinilo Nelo, Abujon Alibo. Obani wana mwekanye hichanya mini. Dada chike doze hichanya mini wodo. My loyalty to your temple. All that loze. It's what they're. Go carry with the chin to tap. There says, that Nnamdi Kanu said, there says, listen, you know where he is. And you want to kidnap him. Release him from the court of appeal. And you are telling me that Nigeria went to his British property 419 at that time in Finland. You see this at 419. Take your time. That doesn't let him. Britannic, Biafra, anywhere you are, Biafra is in London. If you people don't get one pretend to release our leader now, I know that you people are not competent to run the government. But Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen. They have evil agenda. That is the evil agenda is going to destroy them. They have the right to exist. Then we don't have the right to exist. Useless Sean. That call us miscreants. Can I perform Mobi? That is disciplined, peaceful people. You look at us and call us IP. They miscreants and terrorists. They came and take my land. Oh, they don't lose it. Ma bokuna kwa they don't lose it. Bawakwa. I said the word miscreant. Okay, says can be miscreant. On the set. Problem won't be okay. If anybody that escaped, including you, give us some take a machine of football. That all that lose it. Britain, I will bring Biafra anywhere you are. This again, tell Britain to release our little condition. And let us go home. Okay, Monero Kaja, Kaledrin Soprana. Can we tell you, Father Nalanga? I want to worship with that. My father, my bishop, and my pastor Nalibo. I call themselves religious leaders, but at the point, you exactly what happens to Jesus Christ. See his own time, repeated before our eyes. God only heard Christians car. Oh, they're down. They don't come. Bible Jesus Christ, okay, I'm going to Christians car. I'm going to Mazi Banal. The same thing they repeat in here. At the time, you are a human being. As you both know. I want to come and call them and lose them at table. Come be my heart of Cadette. We don't lose it, but I made you about my. No more. Yeah, at that time, Maroto should be there. Well, no. The boy, she, the boy, Captain Carbonate, Catate, what did they were telling us to fulfill the agenda of Sufalani, pastor, bishop, everybody don't become below. Can the credit come? I won't care about Tasatalu. So, can we do Dolawa? Oh, bring our leader. But not because this at out, this night, unconditional. That other, you see, every time, I don't spend my money on my time. I come Bugalana Biafra time every time. Every day, every day, I have precious. All the kids are coming stage of far. One bank to get Mazabala, I must see where I go. Then I have a capitation, man. Come to the radio on my own papa, that you will come for my papa, and the telegram cap. Then I walk left. They will go. They did double. Can't quite it's so long of Biafra. But that's all I have my wife. My dad, that rock pusher, I'll go to the Thank
you.
Prime Minister Britain, so then terrorists are in the sugar saga Britain, where take away Benny and I got bring a lag. They go when you show them more one mouth from everything. Well, by hand in a book, I got a temple and got fang. Nana hang with 2 quotes, goddamn. Not a second, you could stand a bit, run a bit. Naka, Lori. Now, yeah. Oh, I'm not a little to quote to Cabra, my God. That's because it's fast.
All hell Biafra. Thank you very much, Mazi. Thank you very much. And I have another caller on the line. Caller, you are welcome to Radio Biafra Motherland. Thank you, and thank yourself.
Thank you, Professor Mbanali, for taking my call. Yeah. You're speaking to your brother, who's in with the scavenger. I'm calling from Africa the Sud. I greet my leader, Mazi Kano, a prisoner of conscience, who set up this Radio Biafra, a citadel of knowledge, spirituality, and prosperity included in it, all in one box, the educators. And you, Mazi Mbanali, is doing the work, and you have volunteered yourself to do the work. Carry it on, brother. God will bless you. Maintain your blessing already. And when we're talking about this Christian, the way they behave and the way they talk, can you hear them? Can you see the difference between them? Erufai is telling what he has done and what the setup, his plan, his idea, and everything, what he have done as a governor, and what the outcome, and what he's going to do more for the Muslims. And this Christian man is asking him, he's telling him he wanted to set Nigeria on fire. Do you hear this man? Yeah. Did you Professor Mbanali, do you think they understand what is fire? Do you think these people understand what is fire? Because even they used to deceive us and telling us that if we die, we go to hell, fire will be burning us, fire will be burning us. And no one asked them, is it practical for fire to burn someone for maybe more than days without burning him to ashes? And who is going to remain in that jail anymore? But they told us that fire will be burning us forever and ever. That is what they said. And Professor Mbanali, you talk about what is happening to Christians. In Lagos on Friday, Ajao area in Lagos State, the mobs just attack church and destroy properties and everything simply because to walk in that premises fall into a septic tank, and the masses come and destroy the churches, destroy everything. Have you heard of this in a world where accidents happen and they come to destroy church? These are their plans. These are their plans. And when you go into it, you see. Because I never see where somebody who they employ him to come and work in a premises. But this is the outcome of it. It's because of their agenda. They have said their agenda. And that is what Rufai is telling them. But guys, what will the Christians do now? If this man who was talking about setting up fire, setting Nigeria fire, if he talk, do you know what they threat them, Professor Tax, and all of them close their mouth? Rufai was the one who wanted the churches to pay tax. And they started begging. They're all bululu hala. You start to hear Bankare, you start to hear Bukare. All the names, they come out talking because they want them to pay tax. And then you ask them, the tax, what is it for? Is it to come to that your church? But they will not do it because they have inferiority complex. They cannot do anything by themselves. They will only deceive and steal. Professor Mbanali, what type of people do we have as leaders? In Kaduna, Kano, Abuja, all the areas where they have elected new governors, in Sokoto, you have never heard that people died. You have never heard. Even in the West, you didn't hear, but only in the East. Only in the what? In the eastern part of Nigeria, that is where you hear people died. Or to welcome the IPOB members or the Biafrans by killing the Biafrans who came only to protest for the detention of our leader. Only that they came to protest. They shoot them, they massacre them. That shows you that they are doing the bid of their masters. Guess what? Is it a crime for somebody to remember the death of his people, the death of his fathers, the death of his mother, the death of the people who massacred from 1967 to 1970? Is it a crime to remember? Where have it become a crime? But guess what did Mba did, the new governor? Mba ordered the military and the police to come and massacre, kill our people. They say more than 10 people, but when they say 10, that means it's times 10, that is 100. He's the one, it's government who ordered, not a human, not just ordinary man went to kill the Biafrans. And they appeared in court. 67 of them were reminded, they didn't release them. 67 the age were 52 to 52, from 50 to 57 to 70. These are the people who survived the Kwashokos. These are the people who their mother were carrying. These are the people who run, and now they put them into another trauma. They are traumatizing Biafrans. That is what we see. That is why I'm urging Biafrans to rise up, because our enemy is in us. They are working for the Fulanis. They are working for the Fulanis. The churches, the traditional rulers, all of them are working for the Fulanis. Because if they talk, they threat them. If they talk, they're not going to get appointment. If they threat, they're not going to visit Abuja. If they talk, they will tax them with tax, and they will close their churches. That is why they're not going to talk. Tell him, he says, going to feed Nigeria is on fire. Who is that? When you tell your church members that everything is left in the hands of God, who is going to protest? Who is now going to talk? Who is now going to talk for your churches that they are burning, that they are destroying every properties? Professor Mbanali have come to conclusion to tell Biafrans that If you don't rise up, one is will protect you. Then it's for you to now rise up and defend yourself. Rise up and defend yourself, because nobody will defend you. Nobody will defend you. You don't have father. Let it go on at the back of your mind that you are an orphan. You are an orphan. You are an orphan. These people they put there as governors, even in traditional rulers included, and their agents who may know your heart, who met you down when you want to think how to revenge, how to survive. They will tell you no, leave it for God. When you go to heaven, you enjoy. You haven't eat 3 square meal on earth, and you expect to go to heaven to eat what others labored for. You want to go and eat it. You always want to be free. You always want to eat something free. That is only what you are. Biafra, thank you, Professor Mbanali, for taking my call. Biafras, I love you. IPOB members, you are my blood. Bye.
Thank you very much, Mazi. Thank you very much for your effort. Thank you very much for your time. Remain blessed. Thank you. Biafrans, it is obvious that help has to come from us. We must be able to save ourselves from destruction. We must be able to save ourselves from the slavery that Nigeria represents. It is on us. It is on us. Total on your religious leader, not minding whatever religion that you're professing. That is inconsequential. They are as inconsequential to your freedom as what example am I going to give? But what I'm trying to say is that your freedom is in your own freedom is in your hands. Now you have seen that despite everything, every attempt that you have made in order to win family, for your friends, for your well-wishers, for your nation even, these same people conspire to ensure that you do not get that which you deserve, to ensure that even your vote does not count. Now, which means even your political leaders are not there to work for you. They are not there because they were not put in place by you, rather by those who are trying to kill you. Even your religious leaders are not doing anything to help you. They know, according to how their own organization tries to sell their